I believe we all know the SEC hurt an incredible amount of people. And if you're wondering where we currently are in the Ripple versus SEC lawsuit, well, things have not really changed. John Deaton just pointed out how many people the SEC has hurt, but also that it's not really currently changing. I mean, if we're taking a good look at what the SEC is doing now, it's being showcased that the SEC is not the king, even by the American policy website Real Clear Policy, and generally speaking on other fronts too, with guys like Paradigm now also accusing the SEC of overstepping their authority in the Binance case. And so the fight is not only ongoing on Ripple's side, but basically everywhere. Coinbase, Binance, you can name a ton of other exchanges, and I guess a ton of other different projects, including XRP. And again, like I just said, if you're wondering what's going on right now, the SEC is trying to go for their interlocutory appeal. And John is saying that's an interesting strategy. The pundit noted that the SEC's move to seek interlocutory appeal after its initial loss appeared to be an attempt to salvage its reputation. Deaton predicted that the judge would grant this motion, allowing her to clarify her reasoning and potentially make her ruling appeal-proof. However, he raised an important question about the SEC's purported desire for an efficient resolution. Deaton pointed out the incongruity of the SEC's request for a stay. And a stay, simply put, means to put the rest of the lawsuit on hold while you figure out this appeal situation, which would inevitably prolong the litigation while simultaneously claiming to seek a swift resolution. He argued that even if the SEC secured an early appeal victory, and this basically meaning that the SEC can appeal regardless, right? But the interlocutory part basically means they can do it early before the case is over, whereby, again, the case can be either stayed, so the rest put on hold, or can happen at the same time. It would only lead to further delays and appeals, though, if they score this early victory, undermining their professed goal of an expeditious resolution. But are you really surprised? I mean, I've been reading articles, even from ex-SEC staff. Take a look at this. Former US President Donald Trump may change his crypto stance dramatically. And actually, guys, before I move on, if you have not pressed that like button yet, I'm requesting you guys to go ahead and slap it right now. You've got nothing to lose, and I've got a lot to gain. So if you're being helpful, you press that button, because that way maybe more people see this video, and it costs you absolutely nothing to be a nice person today, to do a good deed. Anyway, with regards to Trump, the US SEC's former head of internet enforcement says that Donald Trump's anti-crypto stance may change dramatically. He further predicted that if a Republican is elected the US president, a Republican-appointed SEC chair, because again, Gary Gensler would be slapped the frick out, would at minimum approve a Bitcoin ETF, and may even slow down considerably SEC crypto-related enforcement efforts. And I guess the point right here is that we all know, regardless of if Trump or not comes, but we all know, even guys at the SEC, that this whole ETF situation is just delaying the inevitable. And you can ask yourself properly, why? One of the claims they're making is it's for safety, but to nobody does that make sense. Over on the right here, you can see hacked Nigerian crypto exchange raises capital for user reimbursements, and more info regarding BlockFi. I think the most interesting part is, if these Bitcoin ETFs were to come in, it would actually make the space a whole lot safer, because you'd mostly use these other platforms less and go more to the through the TradFi, heavily regulated ETF providers, where again the SEC has proper oversight, because apparently with these exchanges they don't really do a good job. But if some guy like BlackRock files it, I personally don't think BlackRock's gonna mess around and get hacked or get their Bitcoin stolen, but some random ass exchange somewhere over the world, that's a pretty big risk. So if I had to make a choice for my people, I'd probably say, you know what, guys? We notice there's a crazy amount of interest to buy Bitcoin, because BlackRock said so, all these other companies have noticed that. Let's figure out the most safe way to get this done as swiftly as possible, instead of saying, you know what, let's give these exchanges a little run for their money. Let them slide for a bit, and let all these Wall Street guys wait on the sidelines, look for some sketchy ass methods, while we just, you know, because that's basically what they're doing, right? They're not thinking of anything. I just made that pause intention right there. They're not doing anything. It's just, we don't really understand why they're delaying it, really, actually. And Trump, everything regarding Trump, he's actually, I'd say, pretty bullish on crypto. At least he knows there's money to be made, as he made a couple $1 million from his NFT stuff. To continue on with the story, though, a couple of things have happened. Again, 1 billion XRP was released today. It's the story of a lifetime, though, right? Because it happens every single month. And you might think about it a certain way. All I've got to say about it is, it's the way this network was created, and Ripple's a majority owner of XRP. At least they locked it up so they don't have control over everything. But still, guys, regardless of how much is unlocked, it's in their best interest to keep the XRP price as high as possible. And I kind of see it as with any other network. Even though the coins have already been quote-unquote pre-mined and just been locked up again, it's like inflation in any other network of a couple 100 million XRP every single month. But it's kind of funny because just because they're locked up, they don't count to the circulating supply, because again, they're locked up, they can't circulate. Yet in theory, if Ripple had just held them and promised us not to sell them with no legal, I should call it like smart contract, keeping it locked up, then XRP's market cap will be like 80% higher. It's kind of funny to think about. I mean, Satoshi, for example, everybody expects Satoshi to never sell his Bitcoin, yet we still count it in how big Bitcoin is. You know, his whole million coins are counted. It's kind of funny. Same for all the Bitcoin that's been lost and can most likely never be transacted again. We do still count it as circulating supply, even though it can never be touched. It's sometimes just interesting for me to think about. And also, a lot of you guys were asking me, Dusty, what happened at the party? I think the Ripple proper party was one of the best things that could have happened to the XRP community. There was massive amounts of criticism. To put it into perspective, Ripple throws the community a great party, filled with positive vibes, which anyone who was there knows. People on Twitter who didn't go say, though, the Brad tattoo pic is fake that Brad Garlinghouse posted of his XRP tattoo. Lenny Kravitz was a huge waste of money, as he apparently cost about $500,000 or something like that to show up. They only threw the party to dump on holders. If you are this cynical about XRP, find a new hobby. Better yet, find a new community. I will not say that. I will tell you straight up, think however you want. Because at the end of the day, we're talking about money. And if you think these were stupid things, it's only your right to say that. And if you still think the crypto would do well, even though you're cynical or critical about these purchases, about these events, I think that's fine. However, I will add that I personally think that this was a morale booster. Again, how much is $500,000 spent on an artist? How important is it if Brad Garlinghouse's tattoo is real? How important is it what reason they had to throw the party when you're trying to change the entire world? The idea is that all this really is a small piece of the pie, but it was done, in my opinion, to boost morale, to get excited about finally beating the SEC, to make it official, and let everybody know that there's a lot of like-minded people out there. Right? I think anybody that goes to crypto events knows that if you're in a normal circle, there's going to be a lot of people who really think you're stupid or who think you're a hopium type of guy who keeps thinking the old crypto days are going to come back. Even if I go to a family gathering or something like that, there's always people asking, you think that crypto thing is really going to do well again at some point? Don't you think it's over? But then when you go to an event where people are like-minded, you understand, no, this technology, this sector is only growing every single year, except for this one because, money was a lot more dry this year, but every single year, usually, the conventions get bigger, more people show up, things get crazier, and most importantly, partnerships and technology has just evolved like crazy again. A good example of that is also with AI, how fast things are moving, but people that are not involved think, oh, the AI hype is over, huh? But really, it's not. Here again, this event was so important for a lot of the core XRP community and people around it to understand that they're not alone, that it's not over, the hype is not gone, the project is real, the people are real, and that even though it didn't hit a bull run, right? It didn't hit the bull run, or didn't hit an all-time high in 2021, when all these other coins did. Most likely, the next time around, because they're done with the SEC, things are about to go hard. And I've said it before, I personally think XRP should have gone to $10, $12 in 2021 if it had not been kept by the SEC. Similarly to how Bitcoin hit about 3 times its all-time high, 3.5 times. Remember, Bitcoin in 2017, 19,000. Bitcoin in 2021, 69,000. So 70,000 we call it, which is about 3.5 times the price, right? XRP in 2017, 2018, let's call it $3. Again, 3.5 times the price, let's call it $10 in 2021, would have been relatively quite normal. This time around, I think Bitcoin will at least double its all-time high, which would put XRP at some of these crazy price points as well. $20 is not that crazy. It's only crazy because we are so far away from it now. But I think this event then was good to boost morale and saying, we were kept down, we were pushed down for so long, but that time is now over. Let's celebrate for better things to come. And yeah, the price pumped because people were expecting an announcement and because there was crazy amounts of hype, which shows again, the moment that the bull market is back, things get exciting again, that people can also really go crazy on the purchases, and most likely the retail will get as excited as before. And I just expect really, really crazy things to happen and positive things to happen once the run comes back, which again, I personally don't think is too far away. But hey guys, use some common sense in this all. Bitcoin/crypto has been around for over a decade, and every single time it runs in the exact same fashion. I don't think anything is going to change anytime soon about that. And if it were, I think it's only for the better, as again, these ETFs and things like that are coming in. But hey, that's just my opinion. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you press that like button, and I'll see you guys again in another one later today.